So here we are at Sheraton Vistana Resort in Orlando, Florida. We've been here a lot, and so far, I haven't had the chance to give it a review. Well, it all ends today. I'm gonna tell you what we like and what we don't, coming right up. Hello and welcome to Destination Timeshare. I'm Jeremy. Before we jump into this video of what we like and dislike here at Sheraton Vistana Resort in Orlando, Florida, I wanna let you know on this channel, I provide my knowledge, tips, and advice to help you get the most from your timeshare ownership. And even if you don't own timeshare, but you love visiting these fantastic resort properties, I also do villa tours, resort tours, and resort reviews as well. So you know you want to stick around, hit that subscribe button down below, and also click on that notification bell and select all, and you'll be notified whenever I post new videos. So let's jump into this. We're gonna walk around this big but fantastic resort here in Orlando, Florida, and I'm gonna tell you what we like and what we don't. So as we make our way onto Walt Disney World property, this just happens to be our very first like, and that is the proximity to Walt Disney World. This resort is just a couple of miles from the gates of Walt Disney World along World Center Drive. You do just have a couple of turns out of the gates of the resort and you'll be on Walt Disney World property. Now keep in mind, just because you're on property doesn't mean you're really close to the parks. Some of the parks are just a few minute drive, while some of the others are quite a ways away. But the great thing about this quick access to Walt Disney World is once you're on property, it is actually a pretty easy drive to get around. You don't need to navigate that extremely busy Interstate 4. All right, so I'm here in front of one of the quartz buildings at Sheraton Vistana Resort to talk about like number 2, and that just happens to be parking. I mean, this is a pretty spread out resort. Most buildings are only 2 stories, and most buildings pretty much have parking spaces in front of them for the number of villas that are there. The parking is not a problem here. You just have a short walk. In fact, they don't even supply luggage carts for the 2 and 3 story buildings. They do have them over in Lakes and Cascades where there's 4 stories with elevators, but here, no luggage carts. It's not really a problem though, because if you don't know, I'm big on luggage carts. I actually did a video, luggage cart rant. You can take a look at that right up here. But yeah, really like, there's plenty of parking here. You don't have to park so far away from where your villa is. Okay, I'm over here in the falls phase in one of the gazebos to talk about just that for like number 3. And that happens to be all of the gazebos. Kind of a cool feature here. Many of the different phases around the resort have these little gazebos, have a little bench. You can kind of just come out here and hang around, enjoy the fountains, enjoy the water features, and enjoy the lakes that are all around this fabulous resort. So we do kind of like these gazebos. Kind of adds a nice little touch to the property, and just a nice place to come and hang out in the shade too, especially when it's pretty hot like it is today. Okay, I'm over here in the lakes phase now to talk about like number 4, and that just happens to be all of the different phases. There's actually 9 phases here at Sheraton Vistana Resort. Each one kind of has its own unique character. I mean, you have spas, courts, falls, palms, cascades, fountains, lakes. I'm sure there's one I'm missing in there. They all kind of have their own unique character. Over here in lakes, actually out here on kind of a boardwalk that overlooks a marshy area, and the sun is actually setting behind me. But yeah, that's one of the things we like here at Sheraton Vistana Resort is all of the different phases, the uniqueness of each one. All right, I'm here at the spa super pool, they call it, to talk about like number 5, and that just happens to be all of the pools that they have here. Now the pools, they're not anything special, they're not anything to write home about, except this one is pretty big, it's huge. They do have a couple other large pools, cascades, and fountains, and then quite a few other small ones. The total number of pools here is 7, so fantastic that they have so many pools here. It is a large resort, a lot of rooms, and a lot of people, so we do love all of the pools they have here. All right, so I'm here in our villa in one of the bathrooms actually to talk about our very last like about these villas here at Sheraton Vistana Resort, and that is plenty of towels. This resort does stock their bathrooms, their villas, with lots of bath towels, washcloths, hand towels, all that. So definitely one of the things we like. Plenty of towels. I think they actually put 8 in our villa. The villa actually only sleeps 6. So definitely a great thing to have. Lots of towels here at Vistana Resort. All right, so I'm outside of our building here that we're in here in the falls phase at Sheraton Vistana Resort to talk about our very first dislike. And that just happens to be that these buildings don't have elevators. In fact, most of the buildings here at Sheraton Vistana Resort do not, and I can kind of understand given the architecture. Some of these buildings only have 4 units in them. Some other ones only have 6, so putting in elevators wouldn't have worked. And these were built many, many years ago, so elevators weren't really, and probably still aren't, a requirement in just 2-story structures. They do have some 3-story structures here also that don't have elevators, so keep that in mind. If you need elevators, check out the lakes and cascades phases. But yeah, we're not too keen that not all of the buildings here have elevators. All right, so I'm back over here at the spa's super pool to talk about dislike number 2, and that just happens to be uncomfortable pool loungers. These loungers, they're actually kind of cheap, just kind of plastic strapping on them, not comfortable at all to sit on for any length of time. If you've seen my other videos or been to Sheraton Vistana Villages over on International Drive, I'll put a playlist to that resort up there. They have nice cushioned pool loungers, but here, kind of cheap and pretty uncomfortable. Just one of the things we don't like here at Sheraton Vistana Resort. Okay, the next dislike that we have about Sheraton Vistana Resort is there's helicopters flying over pretty much all day, pretty regular intervals here at the property. Not sure what the deal is, not sure if they're tour helicopters or what. I know there are a number of like those $25 and $35 helicopter tours along here, around here, but that could be it. It could be something else. So it might be because we're just outside the temporary flight restricted area that is around Walt Disney World, 3-mile radius around the Magic Kingdom. This is just outside of that, so maybe that's why they're flying through here to get as close to Walt Disney World as they can without actually flying in that restricted zone. So just one of the things we don't like. You'll hear them all day long flying over while you're trying to relax by the pool, maybe even flying over when you're trying to record something and it ruins your shot and you have to do a take 2, take 3, take 4, who knows. Wait for the helicopter to go overhead. So if you're doing videos like this, you might have a bit of a problem. And it's also a bit of a pain when you're trying to fly a drone too. You got to be really careful not get in the way of those, because you don't want to cause any issues with your drone, and you definitely don't want to cause any issues with manned aircraft. So that is a bit of a problem here. Those helicopters all day, every day. All right, so I'm now over here on the north side of the resort to talk about the next dislike. And that just happens to be that this resort is huge. So big, in fact, that they've kind of split it into 2 sections. You have a north section and a south section. It really spread out. Lots of walking if you come here. Though, good thing is they do have a resort shuttle that will take you around the resort, but just keep that in mind if you're coming here and you're planning to kind of walk around, get around the resort really quick. It just doesn't work that way. I, in fact, actually decided to drive over here just because it's so far from where we're staying in the falls section, all the way at the other side of the property. All right, I'm back here in our villa now to talk about our very last dislike, and that just happens to be kitchen utensils and kitchen supplies. I mean, they only give you like 3 knives to cut with. Unfortunately, not very good kitchen supplies. There is no spatula. We didn't have a baking sheet either, so definitely some things to keep in mind. This is actually one of our tips that I gave in our tips video. If you want to check that out, look at the one right up here. I'll link to it there. But yeah, unfortunately, the kitchen supplies here are pretty lacking. The plates and glassware is also extremely heavy for some reason, so I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, we're not too keen on the kitchen supplies that they provide here in these villas at Sheraton Vistana Resort. All right, so as you take a look over and around all of the wonderful pools here at Sheraton Vistana Resort, there it is, our likes and dislikes here at this beautiful property. So I'd love to know, do you have a trip planned here in the near future? Or have you been here before? What are your likes and dislikes? Let me know all about that down in the comments below. And if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really does help out these videos, helps out the channel, and also helps to tell YouTube that you love these kinds of videos too, and they'll push you more. Just like them. And if you want to see more videos all about timeshare, check out the description box below. And for more videos about Sheraton Vistana Resort, I'll put the entire playlist in a link up there in the upper right. And YouTube, they think you'll like the one right below that. Be sure to subscribe. You can do so by clicking on my picture right here. Hit that notification bell. And until next time, remember, the best destination is always a timeshare.